Good afternoon. I wish to welcome all of you here today to support the passage in the New York City Council of resolution calling on our President, Barack Obama, to include comprehensive immigration reform on the agenda of his first United States African Summit, which is taking place next month, August 4th through the 6th in Washington, D.C. The Council's Immigration Committee, ably chaired by Councilmember Carlos Menchaca, held a hearing on this resolution on Tuesday, and it was unanimously approved by the committee. I look forward to a similar conclusion in our council business meeting, which will start in a few minutes. First, I wish to thank Councilmember Menchaca for adjusting his schedule to hold this rushed hearing on this resolution so quickly. And I thank the members of the Immigration Committee for voting to approve this resolution. I also thank Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito for her support of this resolution and her efforts and the efforts of her staff to bring this to a vote today so that it would be sent to the White House and placed before them as they prepare for the summit. Finally, I thank the African immigrant members of my district and those organizations that you see here today for bringing this issue to my attention and urging me to champion this issue in the City Council. Indeed, I could not be more proud to have brought this before the City Council. As many may know, the Park Hill area in my North Shore district is affectionately known as Little Liberia. I have the largest Liberian population in any city outside of Africa, as well as many immigrants from Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Ghana, the Ivory Coast, and Guinea. What a gorgeous mosaic I have in my district. Some may ask why this resolution is important or needed. The number of African immigrants in the United States has doubled since 2000 to more than 1.6 million, and New York City is home to a significant number of these immigrants. They contribute significantly to our local economy and civic community. More than a half work in professional jobs, and naturalized African immigrants vote in high proportion. They also contribute to their home economies through remittances, creating a vital link between our two continents. Given these factors, Africa should be a vital part of the discussions on immigration reform that's taking place in the United States right now. Our current immigration system presents significant hurdles to those from the African continent who wish to study and work in the United States. For example, the diversity visa lottery must be reinstated. It is one of the few ways for Africans to immigrate to the United States. There are also concerns regarding our refugee and asylum processes. The discussion of this agenda item should also emphasize securing access to educational and economic opportunities for women and girls throughout Africa. If the obstacles women face in exercising their rights were eliminated, it would help assure Africa's economy, economic and social development, and in turn would benefit the United States. I wish to thank everyone who came out for this press conference today. Because of the stated meeting, which will begin shortly, we will need to keep our remarks brief, but we will now hear from several members who have pushed and championed this resolution. And first we'll hear from Ms. Sylvie Bello from the Cameroon American Council. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you. I'm Sylvie Bello with the Cameroon American Council, and we just want to really thank Councilmember Debbie Rose. In light of everything that's happening right here in New York City, in Staten Island, with our brother, who just got murdered, council member, had it been undocumented, it would have been a totally different story.
Absolutely.
So I'm just so grateful that even in his last moments, he was able to speak up and speak out. When Africans in New York City have their papers, we can also do the same. So we just thank you on your leadership and just working hard for us out there in Staten Island. And with that, you're working with all of us, all Africans right here in New York.
Thank you.
The president will be meeting nearly 50 African presidents. We're asking President Obama that in this very important and historic summit, he should not forget those who are paying for this trip twice. Those who are African immigrants and our allies who pay for this trip with their tax dollars right here in New York City and when we send money back home. Because the fact is, all of the foreign aid combined into the continent of Africa, us as African immigrants send in much more money than all of that. We're asking President Obama that when we have papers, we can do so much more. I am going to concede the rest of my time to the chair of the Immigration Committee. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bello. We have been joined by the chair of the Immigration Committee, Councilmember Carlos Menchaca, who rushed this through committee so that we could have this hearing today, so that it would be expedited, so that it could get to the president's desk and be considered when they prepare the agenda for the U.S. Africa Summit. So here's Council Member and Chair Carlos Menchaca.
Thank you. Buenas tardes, everyone. Buenas tardes. My name is Carlos Menchaca, and I'm very excited to be here in support of what the community and our amazing Staten Island Council Member Debbie Rose have proposed today. What we're excited about, really, and what it's very, very true, is that when New York speaks, the world listens.
Amen.
And when New York spoke, and through this resolution, we are asking Obama, President, please add immigration reform to your conversation. It only makes sense that one of the most critical things that we're discussing right now in our own city is at the federal level. And this is an important topic to be discussing. We already know at the city we are committed to you, the immigrant population in our community that makes it such a beautiful, beautiful city. And we need to do more. And we need to do more today and tomorrow. So I'm going to be working with our Councilmember Debbie Rose and all the amazing advocates. And thank you so much for coming and speaking at the hearing that we put together to make sure that we send a strong message today after the vote. Obama, put this on the agenda and do it ASAP. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Council Member and Chair Menchaca. I really have to reiterate again, this would not have been possible if the Chair Menchaca, did not rush this through committee. And the agenda was very busy in the last 2 weeks, and it was very hard to find time. But because immigration reform is so important to this city council and our chair, he made it possible so that we could have the hearing, which allows us to present it at the full stated meeting this morning for a vote. And so, again, I want to thank you very publicly for all that you did for us. And now we'll hear from Jennifer Gray Brumskin, who is an African woman in Staten Island.
With all the stats.
That's
right.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Before I say anything, I want to give my councilwoman from my district another hug. Because if it had not been for her, we will not be here. I also want to extend my gratitude to the chairman of the Immigrant Committee on the council. Let me give her another hug. And I'm going to give the chair another hug because I'm always excited.
Thank you.
I'm not going to be long. I just want to state who we are as Africans. We are Africans in the United States. We are voters. Yes, we are voters. 46% of African immigrants in the United States are registered citizens. 16% of African immigrants in the United States are college graduates. 10% of the American populations are college graduates. So the most educated immigrants in the United States today are Africans. If 46% of the Africans' votes are counted, why don't we have immigration reform for Africans? As a Liberian, every year we have to have DED extended. Every year we have to go to Washington to have Obama sign DED for Liberians. TPS. We've been on TPS for the last 20 years. It is time now to have immigration reform in Washington. Most of all, our African presidents are coming to the United States, 50 head of states. Why not have immigration reform on the agenda? I want to take this time and thank my councilwoman, because when New York speaks, the world listens. And when the world listens, the world acts. Obama will listen to the council. And again, to the Liberians on Staten Island, there are about 15,000 documented, over 20,000 Liberians on Staten Island. And without the Liberians and the West Africans, the frontline workers for health aides, workers in Staten Island, if we were to sit down for 2 hours, there would be no workers in the health aid sectors on Staten Island. We are contributing to the economy in the United States. Our kids are graduating at an alarming rate from colleges. It is time now. We want a seat at the table. We want our voices to be heard because, yes, we vote. 46% of us vote. And we are the most educated immigrant in the United States. We want immigration reform now. What do we want now?
Immigration reform.
What do we want now?
Immigration reform.
Obama must put immigration reform on the agenda. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Brumskin. We also have with us today Anita Taylor, who is the district director for our Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. Thank you for coming.
Good afternoon. Congresswoman Clarke herself, the daughter of an immigrant of Jamaica, understands from her experience the concern of first generation and second generation immigrants who have members of the African diaspora. Today we have the opportunity to consider an issue that will determine our future as a people. Comprehensive reform as a society. We will have to decide whether the United States chooses to follow the best of the traditions by becoming people from around the world who want to pursue the American dream, or whether it follows the worst of the tradition in exclusion of the women and men and children who are defined foreign or un-American. We must choose to resist the politics of dividing and conquer, which will undetermine the shared interests. Congresswoman Clarke remained dedicated to immigration reform based on these shared interests of people from around the world. Only if we build connections between immigrants from different parts of the world, we will have reform that works for everyone. Congresswoman Clarke knows the opposition. I assure you that at work in a Congress with dozens of Tea Party members, she knows the opposition. Unless people of good faith work with each other, their opposition to many reforms law will be prevailed. The structure of authorities have never opened itself for change. Rather, it has been changed by people who organize and demand change. We have the same responsibility today. I ask you to support this effort. I want to thank you for speaking here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And now we'll have Brother Sadiq Wah from NYPD.
Why?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. You know, the only thing I could say here is to thank you, the chairman, and thank my sister. You know, this issue of immigration is very, very important. And if the president of the United States, who we are citizens here, and we left our countries, we are all part of this country. If you are inviting heads of states to come here, I think it's a very, very important step that our leadership have undertaken to ensuring that immigration reform is part of that discussion. Because if you you will talk all you want. If you don't have the right to vote here or to be in this country, our people always live in fear. But so on behalf of my community, my brothers and sisters, and you who have been our leaders here and continue to be the leaders, I'm just here to throw my support to saying that whatever we need to do to make this work, you have my support. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And now we'll hear from Dominic Tammen from the Epoch Corporation.
Hello, thank you. See you again.
Good afternoon, honorable New York City Council members and the general public. Thank you for coming. My name is Dominic Tammen, and I'm the CEO of Impact Corporation. First, I would like to thank Council Member Debbie Rose and also Carlos Menchaca for. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One more time.
Lots of kisses. Lots of kisses.
For asking President to include immigration reform, African immigrant issues, and issues of importance to African diaspora on the agenda at the 2014 U.S. African Leaders Summit, slated for August 4th through the 6th in Washington, D.C. with all the 47 African presidents. My organization has joined forces with Cameroon American Council and the Congressional African Immigrant Institution to raise awareness about the contribution and challenges Africans face in New York and around the nation. As a diversity visa lottery beneficiary and an African immigrant, we have contributed immensely to the United States economy and the community. The president should make immigration reform a top priority for the 1.6 million Africans residing in the United States. Here's a quote from a song that talks about immigration reform written by my artist who lives in Brooklyn. It says, "For the sake of this country, our people stick their necks out. There's no way they deserve to be left out. We have lawyers, doctors, teachers, nurses, entrepreneurs who came here on diversity visa lottery. And this message is for all our leaders. The African community needs us, needs you, to take away hope for the future. It will be robbery, so please reinstate the green card lottery." We are asking for assistance of the City Council as well as the people to ask Congress to reinstate the diversity visa lottery, also known as the green card lottery, and to include immigration reform discussion at the African Summit for 2014. What is the diversity visa lottery or the green card? Based on my observation, it seems like council members may know or may not know about or familiar with this program, DV lottery program. The Immigration Act of 1990 established the DV lottery or diversity visa lottery program where 55 immigrants visas will be available on an annual lottery basis starting the fiscal year of 1995. The lottery aims to diversify the immigrant population in the United States by selecting applicants mostly from countries with low rates of immigrant inflow in the United States. Currently, 50% of the DV lottery was allocated to Africans, which makes it one of the highest ways for Africans to come and the easiest for Africans to come here in the United States, besides other programs which are very extremely tough to get approved for or qualified for. As you may know or may not know, the lottery program was eliminated from the current immigration bill. If this program is eliminated from the bill, it makes it tough and in some cases impossible for Africans to enter into the country legally. As Americans, we must fight to protect diversity. As we know, America is a melting pot. So why are we looking to stop the melting? This is a pivotal moment and turning point for the African people, and we all need to support. We can get to create awareness. Okay, we have to create awareness for the public as well. We have a long trajectory to travel as African immigrant. This is the start. You guys agree?
Yes.
I want to thank the New York Council members, the public, and the press for taking the time out to attend this event while we address the issue affecting African diaspora. Again, special thanks to Councilmember Debbie Rose for the effort to draft this resolution and Councilman Carlos Menchaca. Okay, let's give it up. Let's give it up. Okay. The DV lottery is dear to my heart. As a beneficiary, I didn't really know what it was called. I knew it was the green card, but I found out that the lottery, diversity visa lottery, was being eliminated. So I said to myself, what is that? Until I was enlightened by my fellow Cameroon American Council, Sylvie Bello, and told me what it was, and I had a passion for this. And not only do I have passion, I'm giving back to the community. I have given out jobs in New York City. entrepreneur, also as well in Jersey and also in Maryland. So we need to take this very seriously. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 2 minutes. Okay. We have Miss Ndali Kashume. Okay. Speaking wounds.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity to address you on such a very important topic. Thank you, Council Member.
You're welcome.
We are seeing this platform as our platform to express our voices. And President Barack Obama is having this summit in a couple of weeks' time. This summit will be the summit where all the presidents, well, most of the presidents from Africa will come and have discussions. And we strongly believe that it makes perfect sense that on the top of their list of agenda, our issues as immigrants in this country should be addressed. We are people who contribute heavily towards the economic development of this nation. We are people who are part of the economic engine of this nation. And our needs and our challenges that we experience are issues that are significant to us. We do and we will appreciate it if these needs and these challenges are addressed. In one of President Barack Obama's speeches, he said, we should expand our moral imagination. We cannot expand our moral imagination if we are constantly bombarded with hindrances and blockages. We need to expand our moral imagination when we are able to be free in imagining. And one of the things that we do is to hope for the better, to hope for a better future for the next generation. So we would like to urge for President Barack Obama to hear our voices, to hear our plea, to consider making immigration reform one of the top issues to be discussed. We thank you very much for this opportunity. On behalf of the Speaking Booms organization, I thank you and I thank you, Council Member. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We really are going to have to get inside for stated, and I have 3 people listed to speak. Now, if each of you could say something very quickly,
1 minute.
then we will. So it's Clarice Fall, it's Bobby Digi, and the Black Institute.
Thank you. I'll see you
Clarice,
inside.
I'm sorry, but your time is
Yeah.
big. 1 minute.
Thank you so much. I'm going to be very quick. Again, my name is Clarice, and I'm the founder and CEO of African Hope Committee, a not-for-profit around for over 10 years. So we want to thank Council Member Debbie Rose for really taking us here at the City Hall to address issues that affect the African immigrant community. We have done this work around for African immigrants for over 10 years, and there's a lot of issues that really impact our community, and we have no resources for it. And we're here to address to the President to please help us to address this issue. First, immigration reform. There's a lot of deportation, detention, on African immigrants in our community. We need your help. So if you're gonna gather our president, our leaders in Africa here in the country, we wanna make sure that you address immigration, migrations for African immigrants here in the country. And we're looking forward to sit on the table, to work with you, to see how, all these issues can be resolved here in New York City. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bobby? 1 minute, quick.
Good morning. We're here in solidarity with the diverse African groups of New York. My name is Bobby Digi. I'm from the Staten Island African Advisory Council. And we have been working on immigration reform for several years now with different groups. We just want to urge President Obama to take this opportunity while having all the presidents here to ensure that he communicates and address the immigration reform issues. We've been hearing about all the obstacles, but now is the time to address the immigration reform issue. What do we want?
Immigration.
When do we want it?
Now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. Okay, thank you.
We'll make this really quick. My name is Jeremy Mack. I'm here representing the Black Institutes. Good afternoon. So, Representing the Black Institute, we agree with the statement made by Councilmember Rose.
Thank you.
On the inclusion of the immigration as a topic to be discussed at the U.S.-Africa's Leaders Summit. According to the most recent census, foreign-born African immigrants represent 1.6 million individuals residing in the United States. Moreover, the U.S. is a destination for 59% of Nigeria's high-skilled immigrants, along with 47% of those from Ghana and 29% from Kenya. In New York State alone, there's a population of 171,788 Africans, with 158,878 of those residing within New York City alone. These exact numbers, though, are highly debated, with both African immigrant groups and former census workers claiming that in reality these numbers are significantly higher. Duly noted, African immigrants are the highest educated immigrant group, with 52.8% attending a college and 16.6% possessing a graduate or professional degrees. Even with these impressive statistics, African immigrants make significantly less money on average per year than other immigrant groups, which possess comparable educational merits and are deported at alarmingly high rates. We urge thus the passing of this resolution to help give voice to those long silenced African immigrant voices and to bring justice to where justice is deserved. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was good speed reading. And so now I want to thank you for coming, and I invite everyone to come inside the chambers and actually see this resolution get voted on. Thank you. Thank you, members of the press.